This is a troubleshooting video, and I'm going to try to show you some common mistakes and talk about them. But let me just say at the beginning, if you have a mistake that doesn't seem to be one of these, feel free to take a close-up picture and send me, and I'll try to figure it out. This is one of the advantages of taking a class with, a teacher in person, that she can look at what you're doing and figure out what you did wrong. And it's one of the hardest things to do for yourself. And so I'm going to do everything I can to help with that. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is I'm knitting along. Hold on, let me get my working yarn a little bit more over here. I'm knitting along and I see this weird looking stitch here. Okay, notice that this loop is like hanging free. Okay, what I did was this stitch right here on my last row, I accidentally slipped it. Now of course there's a lot of times where you're going to slip a stitch intentionally, but I didn't intend to do this. So the best way to fix this is simply with this t-shirt yarn to just take out your needles and unravel it, or frog it as it's also called, although usually frogging refers to doing this through a whole item. But I am going to pull out my stitches until I get back to the stitch, the offending stitch. Actually, I think what I'm going to do here is go ahead and pull it out, since it's not that far, all the way down to the end. Now, when you correct a stitch by unraveling back to it, the hardest thing is to get the stitches back on the needle. Now, with t-shirt yarn, it's not too bad. And if you continue along with me with other Learn to Knit kits, we will talk about it, when we get to using other kinds of yarn. But with the t-shirt yarn, they stick up here nicely, and they don't go anywhere. It's very well behaved. So the main thing you have to do is when you put the stitch in, you want to make sure that the front leg is the one that's a little bit forward. Can you see how that front leg is the one that's more forward? Okay, let me show you what it would look like. Let's see, how can I do this? If I took it in the wrong way, okay, see how now that front leg is behind the back leg, rather than when I go on the right way, it's sitting, the front leg is sitting a little bit forward of this back. Let me get that up here where you can see it better. The front leg is sitting a little bit forward from this back leg. So let's go into the next one. Okay, again, if I kind of pull it like this, I can see that my front leg is in front of my back leg of the, the yarn, not my actual legs. Okay, there we go. Front leg is a little bit in front, like it's supposed to be. Well, now see, when I got to this stitch, now I'm a little, okay, well, that's not right. The front leg is more toward the back, so I need to go in from the other side. Whoopsie, it's not wanting to cooperate, but that's okay, because we can make it do what we want it to do. Okay, now, here we go. You can see my front leg is a little bit forward or in front of my back leg. Okay, let's see, I think I need to go in like this on this stitch, and that you're starting to see what you'll have the problem with yarns that unravel easier is your stitches as you go along get tighter because you're pulling them up here, and before you know it, you have a stitch that completely disappears. Okay, good. Okay, that one's correct. And we've got this one more. Okay, they're all back on. You know what I did? I made a mistake. Aunt Karen made a mistake. Can you tell? Okay. If I pick up my other needle, where am I going to knit from? Where is your working yarn? It's back here on this end. Oh boy. So I just do it again. That's what you do when you mess up. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to turn it around because my working yarn needs to end up on the pointy end of my needle. Okay, let's try that again. Here we go. Okay, that one's right. There we go. Got another one, that's right. I know the leg being in front is a little bit subtle, and don't despair if you have a hard time seeing it, because I distinctly remember when I learned to knit and my instructor is telling me, do you see this leg? It's in front, blah, blah, blah. And I would be like, no, I actually don't see that. The more you knit, the more familiar you will become with what the stitches are supposed to look like. And it will be easier to see the problems. Okay, now I have the stitches back on with my working end on the correct side, and I just go ahead and re-knit the stitches.